say?
Top Billin.
I'm doing fantastic. How are you? So listen, you know I always keep it a beam with everybody up on the channel, right? I'm not placating for views or anything like that, right? I do this Eagle shit just to satiate my desire of covering the team that I love since I was a little kid, right? So that being said, I'm not liking the start the free agency at all. As a matter of fact, I can't really name anything that I like, right? It's just a day one recap. We'll get to it, I mean, as stuff unfolds. I would like to talk about how I would like to see it unfold, but I like to recap, you know what I mean, for people who want to know my feelings, right? Uh, Obviously, I did the drawing about my man, the hall monitor, Nakobe Dean, being let walk in free agency. And yeah, I'm still kind of reeling off that. Y'all know I'm a huge Nakobe Dean fan ever since I first saw the cat in high school and being able to cover him from high school all the way to my team here in Philadelphia. And yeah, he's everything that I said he would be. He faced adversity, like I said, in the drawing. When people were talking about, they didn't want him. He was Shrimpy Dean. He never excelled in the NFL and all this shit like that, right? How are those people feeling, right? Lets you know, don't ever go by popular opinion, man. Go by what I say, because I'll be talking about some real shit, right? Listen, Kobe Dean is all that in a bag of chips. There's no doubt about that there. I already thought, though, that this may happen, right? Because usually when you draft a first round pick and that guy's instantly inserted into a starting lineup without actually earning it, right? Because you asked me, the person who should have been playing behind the Kobe Dean, I've said this countless times, and I will continue to say it, and I hope that it rings true for next season, will be Jeremiah Trotter Jr. He fits exactly what the Mike position calls for, not Jahad Campbell, right? No disrespect to Jahad Campbell. He doesn't fit the Mike position. He's way too finesse. Obviously, he's on the squad. I'm not wishing ill will against anyone. I wish the best for everybody who was on the Philadelphia Eagles, and I hope to see him succeed. I hope to see him get over whatever it is that ails him as far as physicality goes. But he's not there yet. And that may not be his style of play. To me, even the way he is, he would fit very good as a Sam linebacker, but you already have Zach Bond, who's even better than him and who has shown himself to be an all-pro level player. And I said it before. This is a season where I'm optimistic about the offense. We just don't know. It could be lights out, but we just don't know. You have people, of course, like Coach Mannion coming in, who's never been a coordinator before, right? Never called plays before. So you're talking about some real shit on offense. For real, we just don't know. So the defense needs to be lights out. And if you're going to tell me that right now as it stands, we would lose the hall monitor Nakobe Dean, my favorite player on the defense, my second favorite player on the defense, Reed Blankenship, right? If you talk about captains of a defense, you would say it would have been Kobe Dean, green dot player. And if he's not there, probably Reed Blankenship, if you're being honest about the situation. So especially with the type of depth that we have at the safety position, this one's a killer to me, right? Dean, Blankenship, and then not being able to retain Jalen Phillips, which I'm not all that mad about, to be honest with you, because I said it before. If you're going to pay top-notch dollar for an edge player, it should have been Josh Sweat. Jalen Phillips not better than Josh Sweat. Jalen Phillips has never had the type of success that Josh Sweat has had in this league, or at least not more success. And they're virtually the same type of players, same type of length and everything like that. And they both had one season of experience prior, right? I guess, you know what I'm saying? Now he has a season and a half of experience in Vic Fangio's defense, I'm sorry. He being Jalen Phillips with the time in Miami, the year with Miami. Sweat already had that. You're going to pay him. Why not pay Sweat? He was a homegrown player. No difference, right? If you think that Jalen Phillips could fit a Vic Fangio defense, Josh Sweat was doing the same shit because they both weren't drafted to be in a Vic Fangio defense, but they both, you know what I'm saying, made the most of it. And Josh Sweat really made the most of it at Arizona. So, but I would like to have saw him come back in some capacity, but I would like to see them already have a replacement on the roster. That's what I'm saying right there. So now it's like the what ifs. I saw where they talked about Jonathan Grenard. He signs elsewhere. But you know what I'm saying? I got some replacements, right? So the replacement, obviously, they need to go in the linebacker, and they need to go in man, that's tough to say, right? Small money is on the team. Jahai Campbell's on the team. Jeremiah Trotter, Zach Bond, that's 4 guys at linebacker. Should they go back in the draft? Maybe go get another veteran for depth. It should be competition at that Mike Backer spot between Trotter and Campbell. Campbell shouldn't automatically be placed there, but I fear that he will because they have a lot invested in him in a first-round pick that they moved up to get. They shouldn't have drafted him, man. They panicked. He's not Dean. He never was Dean in college. You know what I'm saying? Athleticism is cool, but this is a sport with a specific skill set to it. This is not the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? Being a great athlete doesn't mean that you're a great football player or better than the next man who's not as great an athlete as you. Dean fits that shit. You saw what the defense looked like when Dean wasn't there. The minute he got back, shit changed up fast. You not see that shit? It changed up fast. He's gap sound. He's a sure tackler, right? He wants to hit. He's a great blitzer. These are a lot of things that you can't really say about Jahai Campbell, at least as he was as a rookie. So hopefully he improves there, but still, I think Jeremiah Trotter has a lot of that shit in him. There should be a competition there. At the safety spot, right? Mostly would say that Reed Blankenship played on the strength of a defense, so we can call it the strong safety or whatever like that. Andrew Nakobe had one spot on safety. He's essentially a rookie. He didn't play enough for me. He had kind of an up and down season. I'll admit that for sure. But he showed us some flashes for sure, and he's a hitter for sure. You know what I'm saying? For real. He needs to wrap up a little bit better, and he definitely needs to get into that playbook. But he's a young guy playing that safety position. That shit is tough. I don't ever want to see Sidney Brown out there in a football uniform again for the Philadelphia Eagles on defense. That's what scares me is he's still around. He's the natural, to me, he's the natural progression from a Reed Blankenship. That's tough, man. Sidney Brown does not wrap up. Sidney Brown, to me, doesn't understand assignments a lot. He's a flashy hitter. There's no doubt about that. He has some athleticism. He can't cover. No, come on. Please don't let that be the answer there. Yeah, that can't be the answer, can it? Right? Marcus Epps I believe that he was just a short-term rental. I would like to see him actually brought back. I thought he played very well. He's very physical cat, right? He understands the assignment. He's pretty much like a Sidney Brown, except he understands what he's doing. And more times than not, he will try to wrap up. So, you know what I'm saying? Bring him back. But, man, no Reed Blankenship, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to miss that bull right there. I will say this. He didn't play as well this past season as he has in seasons past. He was not wrapping up. He was missing a ton of tackles, and some of his assignments were blown. So I would have liked to have seen him brought back. No doubt about that there, but I understand, at least if we're going from this particular season. So I'm going to keep it a bean on that one right there. But Chauncey. Bring back Chauncey. Y'all know it's dire for me to say bring back Chauncey. I'm not the biggest Chauncey fan as far as what he brings to a locker room. I told this story a million times, right? And covering college football and being able to go to these high school camps and shit like that. I got a chance to be around Chauncey one time when he was younger, man, and he's the most annoyingest guy I think I've ever been around in my life. And I've been around so many, playing football, obviously, you know what I'm saying, my entire life, into an adult, and then being around it in the media like for the past 12-something years, like almost 13 years now. Chauncey is the most annoying. All he does is talk. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people pump themselves up like that. To me, those are usually the guys who are the least successful, right? At least to an elite standpoint. I can think about all the guys who are like that I've been around in those type of camp settings or I played with or played against and shit. They're called woofers, right? He's a woofer. But he can play some ball. You know what I'm saying? He plays some ball and he brings a certain element that I think a lot of people can't. He doesn't give a shit. He has short-term memory. You may smoke him on a play, dust him and all that shit like that. He's going to be right back in your face like it never happened before. And I can respect that, right? Despite the fact that he, you know what I'm saying, I'm pretty sure he wears on the locker room, which is why they keep, you know what I'm saying, recycling him. Listen, at this particular point in time, man, the boy is community pussy. You know what I'm saying? He's community pussy, right? You call up, right? You know what them Jones is, right? You call her up and, you know what I'm saying? Damn, I'm in a drought. Let me call up CP over here. Call up the CP. And every time you call up CP, shit be magic though, right? But then you got to eventually get rid of him again. So that's Chauncey right now. It's time for his third tour of duty. every other year. He should be brought back to the Philadelphia Eagles. He'd be 67 years old. We bring him back every other year. He be in that bitch balling, woofing and balling. But you know what I'm saying? I think that would be a good signing right there. Him and Epps, right? Back together with Nakobe. Another option, I think, you know what I'm saying? People going poo-poo on it, but they actually started it a little bit last year. You know what I'm saying? Your man right there, your slot maven right there, Cooper DeJean. What about moving him to safety? I saw they re-signed Michael Carter. And you remember Michael Carter got in the game when Cooper DeJean had to play outside at cornerback. You know what I'm saying? Everybody crying, don't want him outside and shit. And we know for why the reasons that is. But having him at safety, Michael Carter showed, man, Michael Carter can play some football, right? There's a reason why he was brought back. I wanted to see him play, period, right? If he can play in the slot and DeJean, you put DeJean in more situations at safety to make plays than he does in a nickel spot, right? He still will be able to blitz. He still will be able to, you know what I'm saying, come downhill, tackle and all that shit like that. All the shit that he does at the nickel, but then he gets to play the deep shit as well. So that's why a guy like Reed Blankenship would always have more interceptions than a Cooper DeJean because he's involved in more splash plays. I think Cooper DeJean will be a very good safety. Him and Nakobe, man, that could be that forever, but you know what I'm saying? Probably won't happen. That's just my thoughts on that right there. Got to go out and get another corner. All right, that should be, to me, yeah, it should be, you know what I'm saying? Corner could be a starter. You go out and draft a rookie cornerback, they would more than likely start. Nobody's starting that edge, I don't believe, over Hunt and Smith, unless they bring in somebody, you know what I'm saying? I got another one for you, right? My favorite player in the league, Jersey's own, Camden's own, Haason Reddick. Y'all remember I was super sad when Haason Reddick, you know what I'm saying, left the Eagles. And I'll be super excited for him to come back. This is a perfect time, too. He comes back knowing that he didn't have much success outside of the Eagles. Smith and Hunt are now the two guys there, right? When he left, shit is just different now. So he can come in, just be kind of a money down hunter, let him get to the quarterback. He'd be able to get to the quarterback until the wheels fall off. That's just how it is. When you're a natural pass rusher like that, he'd instantly be the best pass rusher on the team again. Let him do his thing that way. I think that shit would be cool. We need some veterans now, man. This is a pivotal year. You need leadership. You need veterans. Haason Reddick. I don't think Chauncey's much of a leader from the standpoint of he's going to do the right thing as far as the locker room, but he's a leader on the field because he's going to play hard and everybody's going to follow suit with Chauncey. He's just a dog, right? Yeah, it's time for some other guys to step up. All right, the Jordan Davis extension. Not a fan. Not a fan of that shit. He's the highest paid defensive tackle in the history. Wow. He had a good season last year, right? Really good season. Was it elite? No. Wasn't one of them Jones where I'm like, oh shit, he just had one of them Chris Jones type Jones. You know what I'm saying? It was a really good season, right? It was a really good season because in years past, he didn't play that well. Let's be real about it. So that was a contract year. He comes in the best shape in the contract year, has his best season in the contract year. What happens beyond that? Where's the motivation? Got the bread. Are you still going to be motivated? But if he's still motivated and he plays like he did last year, then I'm cool with it because he did play very well, and that is a pivotal position. I don't want to ever hear no nut shit about Jalen Carter not being on the Philadelphia Eagles. Who would do some nut shit like that? That's beyond dumb. People get mad at me for talking about A.J. Brown shouldn't be on the Eagles, right? Come on, this dude's nearly 30 years old and a malcontent type guy. Jalen Carter hasn't even reached his prime yet and plays. Jalen Carter should be untouchable, right? I'm not saying he's the best in the league. A lot of people like to go, I like to keep it real, right? He has a talent to be the best in the league. I can name several players I think that are better than Jalen Carter, but he's got the name. I think he should have been the one to reset the market. He still might. So then that's going to be a lot of money tied up into interior defensive line, and you still got some guys to get paid, like Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, et cetera, right? So offensive line, if healthy, I think should still be good. I still see we got Tank, Saquon, King, Jalen Hurts. Still got Smith, Devontae Smith, then Diesel, A.J. Brown. We'll see what's going on with the tight end position with Goddard. We'll need to see what's happening with the third receiver, Jahan Dotson, now Atlanta Falcon. So third receiver, Still some shit to go, man, but still a very talented and deep team. We're able to overcome some of those losses, but it's going to be pivotal that we get some vets in there and we nail these draft picks. I saw the compensatory picks, a whole bunch of them new ones right there. So, I mean, shit is still going to be what it's going to be. Still going to be one of the best teams out there. Still have a chance to win the Super Bowl, but you have to admit, a lot of leadership was taken off of this team from last year, and we'll see how it's replaced. So keep it locked right here. We'll continue to do more. I'm still going to be salty as I don't know what on that Nakobe Dean and Reed Blankenship are no longer Philadelphia Eagles, but we shall proceed. All right, that being said, big salute to all my people out there.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.